Welcome to a Core Energy short workshop in ergonomics at the workplace. If sitting down at work is your game, then it's time to sit up and listen. So here I am sitting at my desk at work. Firstly, what I want to recognise is true alignment for the seated posture. So what am I looking for there? I'm looking for spinal alignment, so sitting up straight. Okay, and to reach this point, I've got to be sitting on the bony parts of my bum. It's called the ischium. Okay, and so when I'm sat on that part, and you recognise that part there, then I want to slide my feet underneath me a tiny bit. The heels have got to be on the ground, but the weight has got to be through the ball of foot, and that's the important thing here. Okay. What tends to happen here is if I have my feet further out and the weight is through my heel, immediately you'll find that your pelvis tilts, okay, and it tries to start getting strength out of the spine and the pelvis through the joint there, and I get this rounded out posture immediately. So I want to bring my feet underneath me a little bit, heels are still on the ground, but weight's through the ball of the foot, and you'll feel in a much more active position. Okay. Going up to the top, my head is just as important, because if my screen is down here, and if I'm looking down at my screen down there, then I've got this forward head posture. And again, this will start to tire out my back, and therefore I will start to round and I'll get into this position again, and then my legs will go out and I'll end up in this position. So this position here is a real exaggeration of bad posture at the work. My breath will shorten, I'll get shorter breathing rates, therefore I'll start using smaller muscles to do that breathing with, which tend to be from up here, and I'll become a breather up here, which stresses out my neck again, and this is where potentially all the neck problems come from in the workplace. So if I remember where my true alignment is, so if I have a screen which is raised up, and that my head sits on top of my spinal column, and that my weight is going through the bony part of my bum, and that my balls of feet are taking up the loading, but my heels are still on the ground, then I've got a place that I know where true efficiency is for the seated posture. However, I'm at work, there's loads of things going on, I've got 100 things to do. I am not going to be able to hold this perfect posture. It's impossible. Your focus goes into the computer, it goes into your phone call, it goes into all the targets that you've got to reach for that day, and you will be getting down to what I call the performance posture. Okay, so it's a focused posture into here, and I will slump down a little bit. How do I not get locked into this position? Is by organising my desk properly. And so I push my phone out of the way, and I push my pens and papers out of the way. So I actually have to reach, and I start moving at the desk a little bit more. So therefore I start almost stretching my body, putting different loads through it. My bum gets a little rest and blood flows into the part that actually lifts off the seat, and therefore I get good circulation back there again and stuff like that. So again, it's really important that we recognise that this is true efficiency for the seated posture. Okay, we're always going to be out of this posture because our focus is elsewhere, and therefore we've got to help ourselves by moving things out of the way so we move more and we become more dynamic at our desk.